Welcome, everybody. This is Dr. Adam Ingrayo with Heroes in the Field, a Heroes to Hives podcast. And today we have veteran Dave Rife joining us. Dave, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
So, Dave, we've known each other for many years and have spent quite a lot of time together, both in my apiary and then just in Heroes to Hives classes in general. And I love the stuff that's been happening with you in beekeeping over the years, and so it's really great to have you on here to kind of talk about your journey in beekeeping. But I first wanted to start with maybe tell us a little bit about your military service and you in general. What brought you to the military and what'd you do while you were in there?
Oh gosh, man, like the $1 million question. I wanted to see the world when I was younger, and I wanted to escape my home life, right? So I actually I wanted to be a Marine, and I went to all the services and talked to all the recruiters and all that. And for some reason or another, I'm not sure what the deal was, but the Marines talked me out of joining the Marines. They talked me out of it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I was like, that was weird. And then I went to Air Force recruiters, and well, I had an interesting, I guess, step back a little bit. My family moved around a lot, so I went to 4 different high schools. I graduated 6 months ahead of my entire class because I had all the requirements and all that crap out by the time I was at the last school, which oddly enough happened to be Columbine High School. Yes, that is the one that
Wow.
then my school wouldn't give. I would have been in the military when I was 17 and a half or so, but the school wouldn't release my diploma until the rest of the class graduated.
Oh, fascinating. So it actually
Yeah,
delayed your ability to
yeah,
enlist.
yeah. So anyway, when I was 18, I got that and I said, woohoo, here we go. And I got to travel the globe. I was uh, a 631XO. I was a fuelie. So I lived on the flight line. That was, I could have set up a tent there or something. So many hours on the flight line without all the right equipment, blah, 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 blah. But everywhere the squadrons went, whatever I was attached to, that's where I went. So I went to a lot of different places. Sometimes I wasn't sure where I was at. And I got involved because of the job I had, because I fueled aircraft. I helped load munitions. When I was out there on the flight line with the aircraft and the crews, I was also kind of like an extra hand, like, okay, we need help with this, or we got to load that, whatever. Um, so I got involved in a ton of, my whole career was pretty much war games.
Really?
Yeah. I went through a lot. And it was really stepped up during the Grenada conflict. I was at Little Rock Air Force Base at the time, and that was the one of the main bases that was supporting all that endeavor. And then a couple of years after that, wound up in Desert Storm. So after that, I figured, nah, that's enough. I'm done with this. I don't want to deal with this stuff anymore. So I got out, but it was really hard, and I still have some struggles. It was hard to reintegrate, if that's the right word, into civilian life. The only solace that I found, and unfortunately I didn't find it very early because I didn't know what to look for, but the only solace I found was in other veterans, which leads me to, I guess, in a shorter version of how it works. I met Dave Storm, and he was so excited about the program. And it turns out he's a Navy vet. It turns out, for some weird reason, ever since from the military forward, most of my military or veteran friends have been Navy,
That's
which is
interesting.
it's really strange. I've had a few Army, a few Marines, but most of them have been Navy. Um, anyway, he was really excited about the program, and that's why I joined, because he was so excited. And when I got through into the first year with lots of trepidation and really unsure what the hell was going on, but listening to the admonition, don't keep bees until you get through the program, which I'm really glad I did follow that. But that's how I got involved in Heroes to Hives. And then from then on, man, it was, it's, what has it been, 6 years now?
It
I think
has.
that
Yeah.
I've been in the program. But it's like I get more and more excited about it the more I learn about bees, and that's why I'm in the Master Beekeeping program, Great Plains Master Beekeeping program, and because I found you and your wife Lacey have done such an amazing job with this program, and all the different adjuncts and things that you're exploring and exposing veterans to. It's like I want more of that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want to be able to, because I talk to veterans every chance I get about therapeutic aspects of beekeeping and wood turning, it turns out.
Hmm.
And so having a place to gather and talk and meet new veterans, and even the ones that have been around for a while, we in the program, has been really really great, and
Yeah.
I'm just really really looking forward to being able to be to being an instructor in the program and helping out more with that. So yeah, I got to take that. I got to finish my journeyman written test and then take the ground, and
Yeah,
hopefully that'll.
and you've been on that master beekeeper path now, and you also touched on, a few other things. One of the things I wanted to kind of step back to that you brought up about heroes to hives that I think a lot of us, are discovering, and a lot of veterans are discovering as they get into beekeeping, is like this therapy aspect of bees, right? Like, so Dave, for those of you on that are listening, Dave was part of a pilot program that we ran at our farm here as part of Heroes to Hives, where we brought in a lot of our partners from universities to basically try out a set of practices that we developed for basically therapy in the bee yard. And Dave was part of that original, pilot study that we did, which is now turned into a research study that's going to be published later this season that
Oh, nice.
yeah, that actually demonstrates that we're seeing reductions in depression and anxiety with veterans who are working with honeybees. And so, Dave, I mean, I know you use bees as part of your ability to kind of decompress and kind of ground yourself. Can you talk a little bit about like what bees mean to you and that sense of like that therapeutic aspect of integration with bees?
Holy crap, can yeah, can I condense it? I don't know.
I mean, let me put it a little different way for you, Dave. What does it do for you? Like, what are you using your bees for in your own life?
Oh my God, it's a safe space. It's a safe space and a happy place. I think I lean more towards the I don't know if this is the right term. It's not like natural beekeeping where I let them do all their own thing.
Mhm.
I rarely use smoke. And if I
Yes.
use smoke, I'm smoking myself and not the bees. If I have to scrape like comb off the top of a frame, then I'll smoke a little bit just to get the bees out of the way. But for me, it's like I don't want to use smoke if I don't have to because I know it stresses them out, right? And I kind of get into this groove, this flow when I'm in the apiary, and I can tell, and it's taken time, it takes practice, but I can tell when the bees are agitated or
Mhm.
everything's copacetic, the sounds, the smells, the movement, all that stuff. I go out there, and I look forward to going out there like 99% of the time. There is
Mhm.
the occasional, like, I don't want to do this today, but 99% of the time I'm looking forward to going out there and checking them out. And I use beekeeping. I have a place to go. I have a place to go sit and talk, and I can go talk to the bees.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment. There's no, no trying to second guess what you're trying to say. I can just get it all out. I can hear the sound of the buzzing from the hives and the bees entering and going, and that I think that is like C note or something. Anyway, it's a
Yes.
really,
Yes.
really comforting sound. But it's also helped me get into a headspace before I go into the apiary where if I'm anxious for some reason or I've got something going on, I know I'm going to the hives. It's like, okay, I need to get my head right
Mhm.
because I've learned that if I go in there with the wrong attitude or, acting like a bear, so to speak, or whatever, then I'm going to have troubles. Now, I don't usually get stung. It's really, really rare. And it's usually because I've crushed a bee.
Yeah.
With a handle or some silly thing. Um, but I've had swarms, going around me and all that. So it has helped me in a meditative fashion to get into a flow. So I use it
Yeah.
for meditation. I use it for mental health, as far as being able to work through problems and talk things out.
Mhm.
I do believe very much in the adage, or the practice that they used to have years and years ago, of talking to the bees.
Mhm.
They're part of my family.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping but I've explored other things like apitherapy
Mhm.
and bee venom therapy. Fantastic stuff. It's really nice getting that pain relief, after the original burning sensation goes away.
But it is a really important thing to think about. And I mean, I know, you and myself included, and many veterans who are part of the Heroes to Hives program have taken that opportunity to kind of use venom therapy for all sorts of different things, arthritis and all of these other conditions that folks have. And it does work for a lot of folks. And I mean, for me, and it gives you it kind of empowers you to take a little bit of that, that healthcare away from somebody else and put it into my
Yeah.
own hands. That's a really beautiful what you've said about that, Dave, and I really appreciate you sharing that kind of about what you're using your bees for. That whole meditative practice, I couldn't agree more. Like the second I get into that bee yard, that note that I hear that's all around me, it really kind of drops you in. And then taking that opportunity to slow things down before you get in there and get in the right headspace. Those are also those are so important as being a part of a good beekeeper that you've just shared with everybody, is that these techniques and these ways that we enter a bee yard, with respect and understanding that we're going to affect them just like they're going to affect us. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
it's kind of interesting. I mean, like I said, I talk to veterans every chance I get. When I found out that somebody is a veteran, hey, are you consider? Have you ever thought about keeping bees as therapy? Hey, have you ever thought about wood turning as therapy? And I'll talk and talk and talk. If you're a veteran, I'll talk your ear off. And I tell people that too. If you got a minute,
yeah, yeah.
because if you're a veteran, I'm going to talk your ear off about this stuff.
Oh, that's
Um,
great. That is great.
but yeah, it drops you right in, and it's a different focus because once you get into that headspace, all the mind chatter, it can keep going, but it's a whisper,
Yeah,
and it can work things out. And sometimes when things come to the forebrain, I'm in the bee yard. I got somebody to talk to right there. I've got the bees right there.
yeah.
So it's amazing stuff.
That's fantastic.
And
So
then, I have also noticed too, when the occasion, and again, it's not very often, but I get stung and then I realize whatever that part was doesn't hurt anymore. I'm like, it was worth it.
yeah, totally. Oh, that's great. So Dave, you brought up a couple times wood turning, and I wanted to share a story real quick before we jump into what your other major activity as an artist is. And so a story with Dave. So I remember Dave specifically. The first time I met Dave was at a workshop that we had, that we were hosting at a Ford facility, and
Oh
I
yeah,
was doing equipment building, and it was the
yeah.
wood shop, or with the workshop. And I'll be real honest. So I have a wood shop. I am not a woodworker as a fine woodworker. I'm kind of like haphazard around things. I always figure it's beekeeping equipment. Like nobody really cares if there's a stray nail or something gets blown out or something like that. But I'll never forget that Dave brought up a comment when I was building equipment, and I think I blew out the side of where I put a nail in a hive body or something. And he made a comment similar to, well, that's not very good woodworking. And I made the comment back that this is not fine woodworking. But Dave, and it stuck with me forever, Dave. But Dave, you are a fine woodworker and an artist when it comes to woodworking. Can you share a little bit about what you do with wood as a medium for your art?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. One of your memories is a snarky comment.
No, it's a very fond memory of you, Dave. It's one of those that sticks out in my mind. I've got several students that we've had these interactions at some point in our relationships where I'm like, it just sticks out in your mind, right? That's one that sticks out for me and you.
Well, the cool thing is like, we're veterans, so it's like you don't really consider it a gruff or a
No,
negative or
not at
whatever. It's
all.
like that's how we talk to each other. Yeah,
Exactly. We're always giving each other a hard time.
well. Oh, shoot. All right. When I was going through, and I should say I'm still going because, the going through the VA is a continual process. But when I started my journey, trying to find uh, some way to get help with the emotional stuff that was going on, the physical, oh God, um, just all the, I don't know, is the word trauma, I guess, right? I don't know,
Absolutely.
physical, mental,
Yeah.
emotional trauma. Going through the VA, they really didn't have anything that, and I'm a physical guy, right? That's my meditation is physical movement. And so I said, well, and I just had this interest in wood turning. A friend of mine before I moved up here to Michigan from Oklahoma had given me an inexpensive lathe. I had some interest. I didn't know what the heck to do with it, but I was like, if I can get the VA to recognize that this is a therapy, then maybe I can get some assistance from the VA. They still don't recognize it as a therapy at the moment. But I was like, I'm going to do this anyway. This is what I want to explore. I don't want to be drugged up. I'm one of the 1 or 2% that gets the side effects. It's not fun. Um, and so I'm, I mean, basically pharmaceutical free. I just deal with the rest as it comes up, um, because I don't trust pharmaceutical companies. Is
Mhm.
the bottom line. Anyway, I got started and I tell people this a lot, a lot. I actually had a young man. I had an art show a couple weeks ago. He was looking at one of my bowls and he said, "How do you get these so thin?" And I said, "Practice." He goes, "Oh, okay, I get it. You don't want to tell me your secret." I said, "No, that's the secret. The secret is practice." And I say that because I spent a lot of bad nights that I couldn't sleep, or I'd wake up from a nightmare and I needed to do something because my body was just vibrating. My head was spinning around. So I'd go out to the lathe. And when I started turning, I couldn't really stand. I had to sit down and turn. So that's why I got the first lathe that I got. It allowed me to do that. After a while, and I say a couple of years, because there was a lot of nights that I was out there till 3, 4 in the morning. I'd wake up and I'd be out there till 3, 4 in the morning turning. That after a while, not only did it become a mental, emotional therapy, it became a physical therapy because I started leaning on the lathe to be able to stand and get into better positions more and more and more. And that slowly built up some strength and stamina in the leg that doesn't support me so well, that I can do that now. So like I'm at a point in my life where if I can't go turn for a couple of days, I get itchy, because it is my therapy.
Mhm.
But that's how I got started. And then the more I got into it, just like beekeeping, the more I got into it, the more I got fascinated with it. There's always something new to learn. And the fact that it helps me talk to people, it helps me talk to people in a way that I don't have to feel like I'm ashamed of something,
Mhm.
or that I have to protect myself for a surprise, I don't know, question or what have you. I can feel more comfortable talking. The same thing with beekeeping. If I'm talking about those subjects, it's helped me be able to talk to people more on a person to person level than, I don't know what the alternative would be. Avoiding conversation, not
Mhm.
looking people in the eye, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So it's helped me integrate back into society. We're still doing that. It's helping me integrate back into society in a way that I didn't expect.
That's a
Um,
beautiful
uh,
thing.
yeah, it is. And the beekeeping with Here's to Hive, same thing. It's helped me it's continuing to help me reintegrate in ways that I didn't even think of.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's pretty, I don't know, it goes pretty deep. I don't know how I can get all emotional about it and all that stuff because it means a lot to me to
Mhm.
have these outlets and not have to rely on someone else for my own self-help, I guess, my own
Yeah.
help, my own mental health. I mean, I still talk to therapists and all that stuff, but I don't have to go, God, when's my next therapy session? I'm having a bad day. I just go out
Yeah.
and deal with it.
That's
I hope that
incredible.
answered the question. I'm
It
not sure.
definitely did,
Okay.
Dave. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and it really shows, I think, you know, it really shows, and I really appreciate you being so open to sharing, but it really shows how, you know, a lot of veterans that I work with, they feel like there's only one avenue to get help, and that's the VA, right? Because that's what we're
Right.
told is like, you need help, go to the VA. But the thing that I think that more veterans are discovering is that there are so many different ways to get that energy out, right? To kind of harness what you've got going on mentally and physically and be able to put it towards something that's constructive and also serves as an outlet as well. And then you're also talking about how like the knowledge base that you've gained through wood turning and beekeeping has also empowered you to really be able to kind of be more more integrated into just regular civilian society, which is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. I mean, those types of things I think more veterans need to hear because oftentimes, you get in the trenches when you're coming out and you're transitioning and you're in the trenches and trying to figure out like what the hell is life like outside of the military. It's so daunting for a lot of folks. And we just don't think like that there's other outlets that can help me, not just that, it's not therapy just doesn't happen just in four walls, right? It can happen in so
Right.
many different settings. And I really appreciate you being willing to share that, and then also just sharing your passion with other veterans as well, because it's what helps us. I always feel like that when it comes from another veteran, it has so much more meaning when it comes from anybody else, because it's someone that's been through the same things, seen the same shit, and knows what this stuff looks like, from many different angles. But a lot of folks just don't understand. So thank you for sharing that, Dave.
Oh, you're welcome.
So let's also talk about what Dave also has going on kind of in this space. Wood turning, you are on Twitch
Yes.
and you do host wood turning, basically a wood turning show on Twitch.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about that? What are you doing on this channel?
Oh, heck yeah, man. It's a way for me to reach out and try to get more people involved in wood turning as therapy, artist therapy, whatever. Um, uh, I started it because name recognition is kind of a big deal in the art world, and nobody knows who the hell I am,
Hmm.
and I want to be able to sell my artwork, and it's not because I want to be able to sell the artwork because I got tools I got to replace. They
Of
wear
course.
out. I'm going to turn regardless because it's my therapy, but I want to be able to sell it. And one of the ways is to get that, your name out there. So I've been kicking around anyway. I finally found a platform that was fairly easy to navigate, and that's key because some of these platforms when you're streaming, there's a lot, and it's just really confusing. And Twitch for me is a lot easier. So I started doing an educational wood turning channel because I found not only with beekeeping but with wood turning, I want to teach. I really enjoy that space, and so I started a channel, wood turning education. I talk about my processes and how I get through stuff. I talk about tool handling skills, and then I do a lot of turning and demonstration while I'm on. But I do it 2 nights a week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, on Twitch, from 8 to 11 p.m. Uh, I guess that would be EST.
Mhm. Let's do this. So, for those of you who are interested
Oh,
in
yeah, sorry.
seeing Dave on Twitch, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put the link in the comment section here, or the description section of this podcast, so that you can stay connected with Dave. And if you're interested in wood turning as therapy, I mean, I know lots of woodworkers. I'm the son of a cabinet maker, and definitely know that there is lots of therapy that happens in the wood shop for sure. But if you're
Yeah.
interested in finding that as kind of a modality, Dave's a great resource for that, and you can find him on Twitch and interact with him there. And like I said, we'll put the link in the description here. That's fantastic, Dave. I appreciate you for sharing that and sharing your passion for woodworking and being willing to put yourself out there and share that passion with others. That's the best way to transfer that knowledge is definitely by sharing your passion. So thank you
Oh,
for
yeah,
doing that.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
this has been a really great discussion today with Dave. Dave, I want to thank you so much for being on the Heroes in the Field podcast, and I'll be sending you a package of some thank yous to go along with this, some Heroes to Hive swag for you. But thank
Oh,
you for
perfect.
taking the time today to be with us and share your story.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm hoping I get to. It's been unfortunate that I haven't been able to get up to Newberry this year, but art shows and just life. Because I miss you guys. I hope you and Lacey are continuing to do well.
We are, Dave. We definitely miss you as well. So for the listeners, they
Thanks.
know Dave lives actually not too far, a few hours away from us, but
Yeah,
Dave normally spends quite a lot of time here on the farm during the summer, and we definitely love having you. But it's been a busy season for all of us this year,
yeah,
but hopefully we'll get to be able to do that a little later on in the season. And there's always next season as well. But I
yeah. I hope
appreciate your
so.
time today, Dave, and your friendship and just thank you for being with us.
Hey, likewise, Doc. I really appreciate the friendship with you and your wife, and for helping me, even though you don't know it. You are about to find out, helping me smooth out the rough edges that I've had over the years. So thank you.
You're very welcome, Dave. Thank you.
And you will see the occasional B stream on Twitch, or at least on my YouTube channel. I have all of my Twitch broadcasts recorded, and I go to my YouTube channel, which is YouTube at Dave_Rife. So you can
Perfect.
access all the videos, and I do occasionally have beekeeping videos in there. And when I can get cell service out to the apiary, it's really spotty. But anyway, so look for those two.
Great. And I'll get those links from you and share those in the description as well so folks can follow up there as well. Well, all right.
Beautiful.
Well, great interview with Dave today. We thank you for joining us for this podcast. This has been Heroes in the Field with Dr. Adam from Heroes to Hives and Dave Rife. Thank you for joining us today.